Hello, welcome to TechUp. Today I am going to show you how can we use simple factory design pattern in our application. Okay, so let's move ahead without wasting time. To understand simple factory design pattern in detail, I will cover all the important points starting from what are factory patterns, why a simple factory design pattern is important to understand before factory method, and abstract factory design pattern. And I will also cover the use cases of simple factory design pattern, including advantages and code coverage. I strongly recommend you to check out the description for all the suggested videos. So let's discuss important point first. So factory design patterns, there are majorly three. One, simple factory design pattern. Second, factory method design pattern. And the third one is abstract factory design pattern. So if we talk about simple factory design pattern, it is very important to understand before factory and abstract factory design pattern. And that's why we are discussing first what is simple factory design pattern. And if I talk about factory method design pattern, which is going to be the next session after this, so the factory method pattern will make more sense if you can understand the pros and cons of the simple factory patterns first, that we are going to discuss in the current session. And if I talk about the abstract factory design pattern, so abstract factory pattern will make more sense if we have an understanding of both simple factory pattern and the factory method pattern. Let's start from simple factory design pattern. Okay, so let me cover the important point first. So according to the definition, it says we create an object without exposing the instantiation logic to the client. So then we say we are using simple factory design pattern. Or if I talk about the concepts in object-oriented programming, a factory is such an object that can create other objects. Okay, so a factory can be invoked in many different ways, but most often it uses a method that can return object with varying prototypes. All these points are very important. Any subroutine that can help us to create these new objects can be considered as a factory. This line is very important. Most importantly, it will help you to abstract the process of object creation. It means we are not showing to the client how we are going to provide the object from the consumer of the application. Okay, so it will really help you to abstract the process of object creation from the consumer of the application. It means we are hiding the internal logic, how we are creating the requested object. Okay, if I take example, the simple factory pattern is not treated as a standard design pattern in Gang of 4, but the approach is very common to any application. You write where you want to separate the code that varies a lot from a part of code that does not vary. It means we divide into two parts. One part where code is vary a lot, one there is no vary process in my code. Okay, the simple factory pattern is considered the simplest form of factory method pattern. It means you can assume that any application that follows either factory method pattern or abstract factory pattern originated from the concept of simple factory pattern design goals. Okay, so I hope it is clear for you why we are understanding simple factory design pattern first, and we also understand the use case of we don't want to expose the logic of creating a method, or you can say the object. Now this is a very brief overview what we are going to discuss practically. So as you can see on the screen, on the left hand side you can see earlier I created as a console application. On the right hand side we can see this is our abstract class iSimpleFactory, and we are implementing its method create animal in our class SimpleFactory. And on the right hand side we can see this is my iAnimal interface, and we are implementing this iAnimal interface in both the animal classes tiger and dog. Okay, and the client is my main class from where I am consuming all the animal and creating my type of animal that I want. Okay, so let's move ahead. This is the piece of code that I written earlier. So you can see what we are doing here. We are getting one interface two actions, okay, one interface, two actions implemented, another animal class, these two actions implemented. And now we can see this is my abstract class which I have given a name iSimpleFactory. In many companies I prefix also follows for interface and for abstract classes as well, and in that we have one simple abstract class which is returning of iAnimal type object, okay, and we are implementing iSimpleFactory in our SimpleFactory class, and in that we are overriding this iAnimal createAnimal method, and in that what we are doing, we are mentioning if we will receive 0 then we will provide the dog animal object, if we receive 1 then we will provide the tiger animal object. Okay, the same thing we are doing, just making a switch case, passing 0 and creating the new object of dog and tiger. Okay, and by default if the condition not satisfied then we are saying we will throw an exception. Okay, so it's a very simple piece of code. I hope it is very much clear. And if I move for the client implementation, then you can see on the left hand side this is my client, from where what we are doing, we are saying we want to have a animal object, okay, and what we are saying in iSimpleFactory, we are creating first instance of this SimpleFactory, and in factory we are calling create animal object, okay, and then in create animal method we are taking the input from the user, 0 for dog object and 1 for tiger object. Okay, so if I enter 0 then we say, then we are getting the features of dog, okay, and if you will press 1 then we will get the features of tiger. Okay, so this is the console application example that I implemented earlier, but let me show you the web version. I have implemented the same piece of code in my ASP.NET Core application. So let me switch to Visual Studio to showcase that one. As you can see, this is my simple ASP.NET Core application and the name is Design Patterns in C#. So what I have done, I have created one folder, Simple Factory Pattern. This is a simple empty ASP.NET Core application. So one folder created, Simple Factory Pattern, and under that I have created all the important classes and interfaces that I just discussed with you, like animal with two methods. I am passing HTTP context just to print the message on in the response. Okay, so you can keep it blank as well. And I have created class, dog animal class, and implementing the iAnimal, creating these two methods, pretty simple. Creating tiger class, implementing iAnimal, very simple thing, and we are using HTTP response writing extension and using its write async method to write onto the response. Okay, as you can see, its definition says write the given text to the response. Okay, and now we have created one iSimpleFactory as an abstract class, and in that we are creating abstract method, and which is returning iAnimal object. Okay, and this is my SimpleFactory class in which I am implementing iSimpleFactory, and you can see the implementation of this create animal. I am receiving one input that will be either 0 or 1, 0 for dog and 1 for tiger animal. Okay, it will return that type of object. So don't worry about the piece of code. I will leave a GitHub Repo link in the description of this video. You can take the code from there and do as much as experiment you want and increase your knowledge. Okay, and from the startup, as you can see, this is the by default behavior. You will see only very first line in the use endpoints. I haven't make any changes, just giving a few important changes to to run this application in ASP.NET Core. So what we are doing, we are creating one iAnimal type variable, then we are creating new instance of iSimpleFactory. Okay, then we are writing onto the response, okay, from the factory can accept 0 for dog and 1 for tiger, and we are passing 0 for dog, so we will get the dog features. So simply what we have done, so in this preferred type we are receiving the create animal object. Okay, So create animal actually will return the type of object, the argument that we are passing. So we are passing 0. 0 is for dog that we have just seen. Okay, and then we are saying dog animal created and getting the dog animal feature, and now we are calling its method of speak and action. So you can see dogs speak and action says dog says this. So let's run the application to see how it's behaving. Now you can see output of the application. So Factory can accept 0 for dog, 1 for tiger, passing 0, getting the dog animal created, getting the dog animal feature, and dog says this, and dog prefers barking. Okay, so this is the expected output. Let's go back to the presentation to see what are the important characteristics of this simple factory pattern. These are the characteristics on the basis of what we have just implemented. So we are dealing with two different types of animals, dog and tiger, and the process of creating an object depends on the user input. Okay, that's what I said. We are completely hiding the process of creation. So you assume that each type of animal can speak and prefer to do some actions, and in the client code following line, I mean, if you can recall, preferred type is simple factory dot create animal. We are just passing one input parameter to get the desired type of factory result, and I have put the code for creating objects in different places, like significantly in a factory class, as you just saw, simple factory one. And using this approach, you are not directly using the new operator in client code. That is very important. Only the factory class that we are creating, but not the one, the type of animal object we want. I have separated the code that can vary from the code that is least likely to vary. Okay, so this mechanism can help you to remove tight coupling in the system, which is very important for the extension point of view in future of your application. In some places you may see a variation of the pattern where objects are created through a parameterized constructor, such as preferred type is simple factory dot create animal. You can pass as a string as well, and I just used 0 or 1 to create the different type of object that we can get, and where your factory class does not inherit from abstract class or interface. So that is also a completely possible case. I hope you like this all piece of work. If you have any comment, any suggestion, just leave it into the comment box, and your feedback is very important for me. That's the only inspiration to create such videos. So if you like this video, hit on the thumbs up icon, share with your friends, and don't forget to leave your feedback. Have a good day. Bye bye.